when, for some reason, at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, as a Sharks fan, you're still keen to see the team list, even though you know what you're going to see. You know what you're going to see. So why do you bother? Instead of looking at team lists, you should probably look at LOYG. Yes, what's the go? Look at League. My name's Stu. I have a friend called Ben.
Hello, Stu.
Are you going to stick with us this whole episode, mate?
Oh, my fingers are crossed.
And Dave, hello, friend.
Hi, guys. Great to see you.
Oh, lots of stuff going on. Well, lots of disappointment. Really?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well,
well.
It's a merry-go-round of disappointment.
starting with State of Origin, that's where my head's at.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What a bludger of a game. And I don't know. There's been a lot of focus on the refereeing and the penalty count. I don't know if too much more needs to be said about that. No. But any other thoughts?
I mean, well, it's the same all year. A referee with, the discretional 6 against or even 50-50 penalties can completely control the flow of a game. Whether they mean to or not, they do.
Klein is a prolific blower.
There's our title.
But he just, why do they, regardless of who's the best ref or where they have their rankings, why would you pick someone for State of Origin who's going to blow a lot of penalties? Who's going to stop play a lot?
Yep.
Why do you think they do that?
Okay, so look, I can't answer that question, Stu, but what I would like to do is pose another question to your question, which is, who would you pick?
G.
Yeah, G.
I'm Team G all the way.
And I think, that's 3 out of 3 for G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's the best ref.
Especially in the big games. He had which grand final did he have? Was it last year? Or the year before?
Might have been year before. Anyway.
They've all blurred. But,
shut up, mate.
Sorry. But he just seems to let the big games flow the best.
Yeah.
He doesn't let madness ensue. He does ping them when they need to be, but he can let a game flow. It's great.
That's right. Not since the days of Mogsheen Jadwat and Kelvin Jeffs have we had such free-flowing refereeing. But, a lot of drop ball. I mean, the standard of the Origins has just not been there this year. I don't know if there's anything that can be attributed to.
Oh, the pissing rain probably had something to do with it.
Definitely.
Yeah, true.
I think both teams came out thinking that they were we're going to risk it. We're going to spin the ball even though it's wet, and then we'll get the other team by surprise, and they both did, and it was just a shit fight.
Well, you know what else it might be? The players might be going out there with the attitude of, barely anyone's talking about this in the media. They're talking about Aaron Woods. So why do we have to put any effort in?
Fair. And look, as reductive as it is, if we'd been able to kick goals, then it's a different conversation that we're having, referee or no referee.
Yeah.
So it's that is with the goal kicking prowess that we have in the side, when you've not only got Lomax, Cleary, Crichton, and Latrell, it speaks to that very, very clearly, I feel. So if we kick goals in the third game, then I think we win.
And who'd be a Titans fan? I mean, for any reason, but also largely because Lomax couldn't kick the side of a house on Wednesday night, but kick Parra to glory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it all. I know Ryan Hoffman's steamed into the conversation, which is not something I expected to say. But
I think he definitely needed a shout-out at some stage. I'm surprised we haven't talked about Hoffman more in these last couple of weeks, just because.
What's Hoffman thinking this week? Yeah, I think there's a lot of unknowns about the next Origin. Cleary's been named to play, but is he going to be all right, really?
Let's say is a 56% Cleary better than 100% Nico?
I don't think. Oh, well.
Yes. Yes is the answer to that question.
But Nico doesn't get anywhere near this conversation.
It's Adam Reynolds if it's not Cleary.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which, funnily enough...
Were they going to pick Katoa? Isn't he in the conversation?
Katoa's in the conversation, but also, like, do you want to send a 21-year-old into a decider?
Isn't that what we do?
I suppose. But, I mean, you know, there's somebody pointed out that Phil Gould's been very pro Adam Reynolds, and guess who misses playing the Bulldogs if he goes into camp?
Yeah.
I love these little side stories. It's so good. It's so good.
Well,
anyway, to be honest, sorry, mate.
I was just going to say the tinfoil hats were out aplenty with referees and whatnot, but then I even read some groups of people, Blues fans, saying that we missed the goals on purpose because we get kickbacks. Now the tickets are all selling out for Game 3. It's just crazy.
No, I don't think these players need kickbacks, really.
No.
To lose Origin games when they've got such finite careers. I was going to say about Adam Reynolds, I don't think he's been... Like, sure, he can theoretically manage a game of football, but he hasn't been playing well. Do you get picked for your state just because you can organise a team a bit?
Just because you're upright?
Yeah. If that's the case, Nico's back in the conversation. I saw him standing. He did plenty of it.
He actually threw someone into a hole twice.
All right, we can't keep letting Sharks dominate this conversation.
It's pretty funny. Talking Origin and Sharks get such a big look in, and there aren't any Origin players from
Sharks. Yeah, exactly. And fair, too. Very fair.
Yeah. A bit of player shopping movement as June 30 approaches. Cobbo shopped around, possibly Dragons, possibly Cowboys. Sloan told he can have a look around. De Silva told he can maybe have a look around. That's the weird one for me.
That's very strange.
I think, look, not necessarily shopping around, but should be being shopped around is Kyle Flanagan getting picked again and not being shopped around. I think that's a big story.
Well, that's never going to happen. Unless they do a sun swap with Jed Stewart down at the Raiders.
Oh, that's good.
A Nepo swap. I heard something today. I think it was on maybe 100% Footy that the Canberra players had to go to Stewart and say, "Pick your son. He's the next best winger."
Really?
Yeah. He was the opposite of what's happening at Dragons. He didn't want to pick him. It's as if you'd want that heat.
Well,
anyway.
Listen, just as a bit of a, I do love a sidetrack, but definitely had him as an anytime on the weekend. That was always going to happen, as if he wasn't going to score in his first game.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I want to just introduce something called Chop Watch. Chop Watch. After the last round of footy, and we're about to go through it in detail, but just top level, who's the coach closest to the chop this week? The Chop Watch.
Can I go first?
Go.
Desmond.
Yeah.
I reckon Siebes.
Yeah, he's on a bye. That's a bit rough.
He came out of the weekend with 2 points. Sorry, Siebes, you're done, brother.
They were down at half-time, though.
Yeah, well, nice. Very good. But I like Siebes tuning into the What's the Go podcast here, and he's highest on the Chop Watch meter. We had a bye. Come on, man. So AOB's slid down a bit, you reckon?
He'd be third.
He's exactly the same as he has been since the preseason. He's got a contract that is going to save him. The payout's just too big.
Yeah. Well, Corey Parker went after Des today in a big way. I don't know. You know what's interesting? This whole thing that keeps this self-sustaining thing of someone in the media says something and then the rest of the media report on the guy that's in the media what they said.
Yeah.
And then it gets replied to. Oh, it's just non-stop. Non-stop. No wonder the players don't feel they need to bother. The actual rugby league's an afterthought.
They create their narrative and then follow it and then report on it.
All right. So I'm going to have to say Des. You say Siebes. Ben says Des.
Well, it's AOB, but I'll go Siebes because AOB is untouchable.
Well, AOB is actually if he wasn't contracted, he'd be $1.01.
Yeah. What about Peyton?
Oh.
The Cowboys have copped a about 40-point shellacking 2 weeks in a row, haven't they?
I think it's averaging over 50 for 3 weeks. Ever since he moved Purdue to the...
I hear it and I know.
Purdue.
Yeah. I think it's unfair on Des. Well, it's half unfair.
Here comes the Titans' eyes.
Titans' eyes. It's half unfair in that he's the one dicking around with his halves and fullbacks, right?
Yeah.
So that's one
See
thing.
what you did there?
But also, he didn't ask for this David Fafita situation.
Well,
whatever the hell that is.
Did he not? He was there last year when they re-signed him.
Yeah, but what? He was supposed to know that David Fafita would have a tantrum about not being on the side that he wants to be on.
I think he's got form.
Wait.
He's got tantrum form, hasn't he?
Yeah. And
allegedly.
You're the coach that re-signed him. You're responsible for his mindset.
All right. Yeah, okay.
So
I'll cede to that.
3/4 Des?
3/4 Des.
3/4 Des.
And 1/4 De Groot. For no particular reason other than he was the first person that came to mind.
Yeah, drive by under Groot. Well done.
Yeah. What about the round that was, fellas? We had Wigo's ghostly voice piping in to give us his tips after he'd left the conversation. So we've got all our tips across the board for that. The first game was at Campbelltown at the 4-point win by the Raiders. Dave and I both picked Raiders in just head to head. Ben, you said Raiders by 18, I think.
I did. I thought they were going to touch them up. They did not.
No.
Touch them up? I mean, that's... Yeah.
They were lucky to get away with it in the end.
Absolutely they were.
Yeah.
Didn't score a try in the last 57 minutes of the game.
What else came out of that game? I mean, Jed Stewart, as you said before, try on debut, played pretty well. Mm-hmm. It was a Tarpany show, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. That try saver from Tarpany was one of the best things ever.
Can we pick him in the halves?
Yeah.
For Origin?
Yeah. Oh, mate, I don't know. But Origin eligibility could be a 3-hour episode. Why...
That's all you need to say, Stu. Why?
Tongans and Samoans, different playing field to New Zealanders. Anyway, whatever.
The shitty thing for Tigers fans is Buller did his hamstring on the last play of the game. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. And he, for mine, his debut season he was amazing, but he'd hit his best form. Buller, he'd
started to get back to that first season form, right? Yes. But I'm sure Hoof Mason will do his best back there.
He'll do his best Jai Gray impersonation.
Poor man's Jai Gray. Luckily, no one listens to this to hear how nasty and awful we can be. What's this next game? Oh, Panthers and Waz. Panthers 28, Waz 18 over in New Zealand.
Yeah, big win.
Big win.
Yeah.
Big win.
They're saying the Panthers are back.
Well, that's what I've got in my notes. That's literally all it says is, here come the Panthers.
I had an old friend, an uncle. We call him. He saw him on the weekend, and he said, "Hang on, I saw that the Panthers are, because I think they were sitting sixth with games still to play in the round. How is that? Well, I thought they were, last time I saw you, they were last." I said, "Well, it's that kind of season. They've won 3 games in a row, and they've gone from last to sixth."
It is
Warriors,
that kind of season because Penrith are in 8. They've won 2 more games than the Titans, and it's round 16. Anyway.
Ludicrous. Don't worry, there's 472 buys to come in the next few rounds, so it'll all shake out in the end.
Well, yeah, Raiders are second and have 2 buys left to come. That's something to think about.
And a good run around it.
What else? What else do you want to tell us about that game, Dave?
I'm going to be biased probably, but I actually did see. Yeah, me. Well, to actually trying to be more neutral, the Warriors had a lot of bad luck. They lost players to injury. They were already missing 2 of their best, Barnett being the main one. Then they lost players to injury in the game as well. So everything kind of fell in Panthers' way. But the Panthers team were playing together again. Their defensive cohesion is back. Their line speed's back. They look organised again in attack instead of all over the place.
Even with Casey McLean in the back line, their defence was...
Completely, including him. Yeah, it was shockingly good. And Dane Laurie, he got rid of the long hair and he played great.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
So I think
that's the key.
Yeah, maybe ego check has pulled them back into line, and they're just working hard again.
Yeah, hang on. On that hair point, are we saying that? So obviously, Laurie's cut his hair. So does Desi need to do the reverse Samson? Just putting it out there.
I don't know how he wouldn't. No one would see him as the same person. Des is the hair.
Maybe that's a good thing.
This is rough stuff on Des.
Listen, I picked the Titans.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, sorry, we're not talking about them at the moment. We're talking about the Panthers. Well done, Dave.
Yes, I take some responsibility. Thank you.
You did pick the Wars, though.
Yep.
With Metcalf 20-plus points.
Yeah, he had 20% of a hamstring left instead at the end.
Yeah.
Was he a chance to get picked for New South Wales?
No.
I don't think so.
I think Tarpany was in front of him.
Either of the Raiders front rowers may have been picked ahead of him.
Yeah.
Well, you would have to think that Katoa would be the next.
Yeah, Reynolds or Katoa, that's
Reynolds or Katoa. Yeah. You'd have to think. Ben, you had Wars minus 4.5. I had Wars with Pompey 2 tries. None of that happened. What about the Dolphins and the Knights? The Knights beaten by 6 points over in Perth.
The Knights.
And Fletcher Sharp had multiple internal injuries somehow out of a fairly mild-looking tackle.
Well, you would think from his head hitting the ground that he may have had more concussions that he had than internal injuries, but it turns out that his whole internal structure imploded or was on its way to imploding.
Yes.
That is horrible.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this game?
Well, Sharp's been their probably best in attack this year, so he's going to be he and Lucas, so he's going to be sorely missed, but it's 26 points. Good to see the Knights actually scoring a few.
Yeah.
Bradman Best was bullish.
Yeah, thick hips best. But what I did want to make a point about Katoa in this game. I didn't think that his kicking game was anywhere near where it needed to be for them to really have for them to roll over the top of the Knights as I thought they were going to, with my tip being Dolphins by 40. But I was really like watching that game, I was really disappointed with how he played.
Shows you how important he is to the team, though, already, as even though he's 21 or whatever he is. If he has an off night, they're going to struggle.
Yep.
I've noticed a few times, and I don't remember the examples, I just remember thinking it, having seen it, that as soon as someone starts getting talked about in Origin contention, they have a bit of a shocker the following week.
Yeah.
Katoa didn't have a shocker, but he also didn't play to the standard he's been playing at, really. All right. I had Dolphins 20 plus. Dave had Dolphins 10 plus. Wigo had Dolphins by 40. I mean, lucky we don't have a look at LOYG punters club going on here, right?
Yep. But well done to the Knights. Like they busted their asses all game. I thought they were really impressive. And, you know, maybe even just having Jackson Hastings sitting on the bench as your 18th man, you know.
Not this coming week.
What's been the change, though, for the Knights? Because it's been pretty noticeable. The last 2 weeks, they've been so improved. Or 3 weeks.
Boogate.
Yeah. So from that half-time, since that half-time, they've
been better. I think it's a combination of Boogate and also running up against some, like, Dolphins have got to be exhausted from
being up every week.
Being up they've been for months. Manly are, here and there. Who else did they beat?
So the right opposition at the right time helps.
Yeah, that's sort of. I think that. Yeah. Fueled by booze. All right. Well, what about the Rabbits and the Storm? Oh, I was filthy at this one.
This is my big thing for this week. I've heard lots of people talk about it for years. This is my big thing for the week. I think the total points that for the competition that you take away from a game should be 3. If you win, you get 3 points. If you go to Golden Point, you get 1 point each, and whoever wins Golden Point gets the 3rd point.
Interesting.
You don't deserve to get, like, the Cowboys and the Rabbits walked away from the weekend with the same amount of competition points.
Yeah.
They did not play the same.
Yeah, okay. So just go up by 3s every week.
Yep. Instead of 2, it's 3, and if you go to Golden Point, you get 1 point if you lose in there. So there's still only 3 points. There's only 3 points available in each game, so it's even. It's fair.
Yeah,
I am aware that 3 is not an even number.
But also, yeah, I mean, it just depends. Like, how do we want games to be decided? Because once you hit Golden Point, it's luck.
Yep, sure is.
Luck of winning the toss, getting the ball, luck of field position, luck of striking a drop kick well.
Mm-hmm. Well, not necessarily, because Latrell struck that drop kick pretty bloody well.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I was dirty. I saw that Rabbitohs price. I went, oh, give me some of that. But Dave and I had... Oh, no. I had Rabbits straight up. Dave had Rabbits with the line, which they would have got, obviously. And Ben, you had Storm minus 11.5. Fartsy farts.
Yeah, I had a cracking week the week before, but this week, not so cracking.
Oh, do we got her?
Talk about the first half of the next game for me, because I missed the first half.
All right, yeah. Sharks and Broncos.
Stu, can you imagine, as a Sharks fan, if we were to put the second half against the Dragons and the first half against the Broncos together in the same game?
That is the talk of a desperate man. 34-28. Far out. Like, okay, what was the score at half time? 8-10, 10-6,
22-12,
16-6, 22-12. Yeah. And then we scored next after half-time.
Mm-hmm.
So up
With
by
12
16.
dudes.
Yeah, so up by 16. And then 4 tries from fucking Broncos.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did the Broncos kick into gear and they were just unstoppable? Or, I mean, I know that there were some very, they weren't even 50-50 calls. There were some bad calls against the Sharks. But what happened?
Without having the stats in front of me, I assume that Broncos had more possession in the second half, which means they weren't getting sliced through like they were in the first half.
Yep.
I suspect that the sin bin, sin bin takes it out of you, and this.
They came out after half-time. Sorry, Stu. They came out after half-time. They were down to 12 men. They busted a gut. They scored first with 12 guys. They defended their asses off in that first 10 minutes. And even when Katoa came back on, all he did was run sideways. And they were busted. They dropped too much ball in the second half.
Yeah.
And, there was some, that Calhoun square at marker call is atrocious. But when you can't...
I'll still blame him.
Yeah, absolutely. The when your attitude is all about trying to pull a penalty in every ruck and just complaining to the ref constantly, and then pretending you get pushed over in the defensive line, and then complaining to the ref, and everyone's stopping. It's so frustrating to watch that stuff because they were so good in the first half. Like when they had the ball and Nico was running straight and putting Nakora into gaping holes, we looked really good. And then a little bit of pushback from the Broncos and we folded.
Do you know what the hands in the air crying for penalties looks like, though? They want to do everything the easy way.
Yeah.
They want a free pass.
What talked about last time, no grit, no grind, no guts, just fancy, looking schmick, throwing people through holes, and then just, let's try and see if we can get some penalties here. The thing about the sin bin, Pete, they always go on about, you got to make sure you don't get, hurt too hard while your player's off. It's not about that time period when the player's off. It's about how gassed you are from covering for that person while they're off. So it doesn't actually matter if you let a try in that period. How are you going to be for the rest of the game? That's always talk. It always frustrates me to hear that stuff.
The commentators omit that always. Yeah.
Well, and see, if you do let a try in during that time, you get a rest.
That's 3 minutes off.
Exactly.
You get a rest.
So what are you saying? Tactical tries being let in.
That's right.
And then what? Can't find a kicking tee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Who's our clutch player?
It's not Nico, so rule that one out. Nico.
Brayley probably.
He was good.
Will Kennedy's form's dropped off a cliff too.
Will Kennedy's gone off a cliff
6,
in the last couple
round
of weeks.
8, he was leading the Dally M's and looked like he could take on anyone.
Here's the problem. Trindle still doesn't seem to know when he's allowed to take control and when he's not. Because there's still that confusion about whose team it is. And so Trindle feels like he should defer to Nico because Nico's the marquee $1 million player, but Nico's not clutch. Nico's can do very good things and look very good and put people through holes.
He needs a haircut as well.
He's not. He needs a hair dry. But he's not icing any games.
Yeah.
Trindle can't. I reckon Trindle's got more chance of icing games than Nico, but they still don't know whose team it is.
Well,
so both of them go, oh.
What about some finger pointing at the coach? Like with the benches that he picks. Like Atkinson is does what for you?
I've talked about this for a long time. I don't have anything new, and I genuinely, after the press conference, sorry to talk about Sharks for 80% of this podcast, but after that press conference last week, I genuinely believed Fitzgibbon was pissed off and would do something. Same side rolls out, except for the fact that Oregon Kafusi's back from injury, so Peru goes out.
Who was pretty good.
Who was good.
He was really good.
Atkinson's still on the bench.
Yeah.
Do we need that 8 minutes of him sort of hanging around the middle? Why wouldn't you give, if you're going to have Atkinson for 8 minutes, not doing a great deal, why wouldn't you give Beryl 20 minutes so you've got a... Look how great Brayley was in the first half when he was fresh. Right? Like that, you could have that in the second half as well if Beryl was there to give him a break.
Or use Atkinson for dummy half relief for 5 minutes either side of half time. It's only 10 minutes.
We beat Storm last year with a halves combo of Brayley and McInnes. Do you remember that? So we don't need Atkinson covering halves on the bench. Those guys can do it and beat the Storm.
It's interesting that you mentioned McInnes. Too much drop ball from that dude.
Yeah.
Like there's a real issue with our hands at the moment. They're not as handsy as I'd like them to be.
Jack Williams taught them everything.
I was going to say exactly the
before
same
he
thing.
left.
That's right. Hans Williams. He's all right.
Do you know what the problem is with Jack? He went to the club with Brendan Hands, so he got extra hands.
He's got more hands, which is exactly what he needed. But I think Jack Williams at one stage dropped a ball, and it just made me feel like all was right in the world.
Balance
Even
is
though
restored.
the balance was restored. Yep.
I don't know. I genuinely looked at the team sheet today and genuinely felt like an idiot. Why did I bother?
You don't get league. That's why.
I don't. I need to look at LOYG to try and get it better. I had Sharks minus 5.5. Dave had Sharks. Actually, Dave, you talked me into taking Sharks 5.5, minus 5.5. We both did that.
Yeah.
Ben had Sharks minus 1.5.
Half time, we were looking very smart.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. For the Broncos, I mean, you'd be happy that you have the resilience to fight back.
You'd also be happy you've got Payne Haas.
Yeah.
Oh, Payne Haas. Yeah. So, he's made it.
Backing up from Origin.
Yeah. And was
carrying an injury.
And did big minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I think broke pretty much every first tackle. Every time he had a hit up, it was very distressing to watch.
If you're picking an all-time team, do you want Prime Lolo or Prime Haas? Who's your first pick?
Haas.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if that's recency bias, but
Tamalolo was very, very
good.
Mate,
he was very good. Like he was the $10 billion man at one stage.
Yeah.
I think they're your top two.
Yeah.
Anyway, next game.
Yep.
Yes. All right. Roosters and Cowboys.
Yeah. I've got one question on this one. Which Nwanga Nitawaze try was your favourite? Because they were both remarkable.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe the last one.
Yeah, because there's so many sets of hands involved.
Yeah.
Hands.
Yeah.
Hands. All I can say, again, I think the problem is we keep having these extremely pertinent questions that don't get answered for weeks. So, pertinent question with Roosters being, why the hell would they put DCE into this mix when they're playing the way they are.
Great question.
With the stock they've got.
They've already got to squeeze their main halfback into the side.
Well, yeah, exactly. And
unless they want to let Sandon Smith go for DCE, that doesn't seem like a smart long-term trade.
No, not at all.
No.
Also, in the back of my mind is Manu. Is he coming back? You keep hearing faint little whispers. But Manu, if he comes back, it surely comes to the Roosters. There's some Waz talk, but surely.
Where's he going to play?
Well,
Toya.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Billy Smith.
Billy Smith.
Yeah.
Like 1920s Billy Smith. Unreal.
I don't know.
You're not dropping Tupu. You're not dropping Teddy.
No.
And the halves are, like, unreal.
Yeah.
So maybe he comes off the bench. Maybe the Sharks can use him off the bench in the Atkinson position.
Yeah.
All right. Manu in second row, I guess. They've got to...
Actually, well, they do need a lock because Victor Radley, sadly, surely cannot play rugby league again.
Very sadly. Also, how about the dramatic drop-off of the Cows? Like, 6 weeks ago, they were on the rise and rise, and you don't think so, Stu?
I mean, I tend to feel more that what we thought was a comeback was maybe a few fluky games.
Yeah, okay.
Some drinky magic.
They threw it around, and it's Stark and Drinky and Purdue were there. Okay.
Yep. So we all had Roosters, but Ben had Roosters minus 2.5, which I think is all right.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll win.
Yeah, I know. Well, enjoy it because next...
Yeah.
Titans and Eels. Titans and Eels.
Eels started the game with both of their halves out.
Yep.
No Brown, no Moses, no chance.
And finished the game with both of those guys out too, by the way.
Unexpectedly.
But, yeah, like... pretty spectacular effort from the Parramatta Eels with that factor, the main thing, right? Yeah, Dean Hawkins played well.
Yep.
Iongi, we go.
The best. Can we pick him at 5'8"?
Yeah.
Or halfback?
I mean, Slater likes to do weird stuff. Does Iongi leapfrog Ponga and Reece Walsh into Maroons fullback for game 3? He does like to do something left field, the old Billy. Apart from being a grub.
Well done, Eels. Like that's a huge win against a team that should have beat them.
Yeah, Jaden Campbell getting knocked out early didn't hurt the Eels' chances, though.
Yeah. Was anyone thinking a Jolliffe try within the first 5?
Yeah.
Not this guy. And I think some weird stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, we'll come to that in a minute, but I don't know. I don't know how Laura can keep my Titans theme going here. I'll do my best.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, let's, shall we?
Let's shall.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had you guys had Titans straight up. I had Titans by 12. So I wasn't even happy.
We all got it wrong, but you got it more wrong. Congratulations.
Yeah. You are the more wrongest.
Now, this is a matchup for the first game of the rounds, isn't it?
2 weeks ago, no one would have said that.
Yeah, well, Panthers and Bulldogs, all the Origin players in.
Scott Sorensen, the only Panther missing.
Yep.
Doggy's coming off the bye.
Yep.
Doggy's coming off the bye, the Marcus bye. Look, it's feeling fresh. Marcus Bye's going to be a board member of the new PNG team, by the way. That's why he was in the front of my mind. I saw that today.
I thought he was going to be a guest next week.
We don't have time for guests. Imagine that. Imagine me telling a guest to hurry the fuck up. Oh, sorry. All right. Yeah. Any other team news there? Poor old Panthers that got the job done have to make way. So who's out? Alamotti, Laurie, Eisenhuth, Talua.
Yeah.
Schneider keeps a bench spot.
Yeah, I still find that odd, but
I don't. Who would you rather have there?
Well, especially with Cleary with a dicky leg, so...
Yeah, I think that'd be... Crichton, King, Mann, Burton all returning, as well as Carraz. Galvin back to the bench.
So Galvin and Curran are on the bench. So is Kurt Mann. They all
That's a small bench, man.
Yeah, and Bailey Howard is starting at lock. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thickest neck in the NRL, Harry Hayes, can't cancel out how small the rest of those bench players are.
Fair.
Yeah. I am really looking forward to this game. I mean, people have been asking, are the Panthers back? I think you might find out on Thursday night, one way or the other.
Indeed.
Yeah, and also, like, I hate to say it because I've said it so many times and it's been wrong, but Dogs are due for a loss or two, aren't they?
Yeah. Let's hope they fare the same way the Warriors did, who were also due a loss last week.
Yeah, well, yes. All right. Give me your tips.
Got way too much optimism. I can't see past my heart, which is going Panthers.
Right.
I'm going to take the Panthers with the start, which is 3.5.
Panthers with start. All right. I will say, I mean, I want Panthers to be back because I think it'll be good for the competition for the Panthers to have been down and out and fighting their way back. It's just a bit of a different narrative and an interesting twist to the end of the season. But I am concerned about Cleary, and if he's got something wrong with him, like it really hampered him in State of Origin.
Yeah, big time.
Will they pull him late? Do you reckon they'll pull him late? And do you think they'll remove him from the side?
I don't know what I don't know what their motivation tactics are out there. Maybe it is. I don't know.
And just throw Schneider in there and hope for the best, because I would change my tip otherwise if they do. But likewise, based on what we got now,
can we do that? Can we put the caveat in? If the team as named runs out, Panthers. If Cleary is a withdrawal, change to Dogs.
Okay. What about the Cleary list team that did it for you last week, though?
Yeah. What about them?
They weren't playing the Bulldogs.
True.
Right. There you go.
I got Bulldogs 1-12 either way.
Cool.
Either way. And that's because every time I tip against these front-running teams, they win. How about the Eagles and the Tigers at Four Pines? Eagles with a new look backline.
I actually like it. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I hate to say it
balance.
because I want Manly to do badly, but it does look
Manly
pretty
for the
good.
spoon, right?
Garrick to the wing, where he should have been playing for the last season and a half.
Yep.
Tommy Turbo in at centres, and Lehigh gets a proper run at that fullback spot.
Yep.
I don't know. This is where it falls down for me a bit, though. Front row, Matthew Lodge, Jazz Tavaga, and Takiaho.
That's a bench starting front row if ever you've seen one.
Yeah.
And no Olakawatu.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, Corey Waddell, Ben Travojevic, and
Gerbo.
Yes. Yeah. Tigers, as you might expect, except for the fact that Jack Bird is starting in the second row with Seyfarth back to the bench.
Yeah. And Fainu in the number 7 jersey. Jerome is actually a 6. Yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Fainu in at 7, where people have been screaming for him to start for a while. Thoughts?
I think Finey's going to have one hell of a game for Manly not to win well.
Which makes you tip what?
Manly.
All right.
Manly 13 plus.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you can grimace all you like, but we need to keep talking.
Need a tip. And I'm going to take the Tigers plus 6.5.
Plus 6.5. All right. I'm just going to take the Tigers 1-12, and there's no logic to that other than I'm death riding the Eagles. That's it. Knights and Raiders is at McDonald Jones. Now, yes, there are different ends of the ladder, but we know what this competition's like. We said how close teams are.
This could be an absolute belter.
There's a threat around this, isn't there? There's a sniff of it.
No Fletcher Sharp is
that's true.
A bummer.
Jackson Hastings, though.
And also, Bradman Best is very good at rugby league, and the Raiders centres are also very good at rugby league. So I'm really looking forward to the Gagai Best Chris Timoko show.
If I was a Knights fan, I'd be much happier with this forward pack. Saifidi being back, Frizzell, Lucas, Pierce, Paul, Crossland.
Crossland a lock, though?
I mean...
If they've got their best team, Crossland's 14.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Adam Elliott, if he were available, would be playing there.
Totally.
I suppose.
Yeah.
But, it's the same strong-ass Raiders side that we've seen all year, so...
Yes.
So I mean, touching wood, they seem to have had really great run with injuries, right, Raiders?
Well, Jed Stewart's made his debut through injury, but, yeah, it's pretty good.
But it's round 16, and if Hot Tamale's the most notable injury they've had for a while, then that's pretty good.
This is a tricky one to pick. Who are you going with, Ben?
I want to take the Knights with the start, but no Fletcher Sharp makes me sad, so I'm going to take the Raiders straight up.
Raiders straight up. Yep.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same.
Raiders straight up. What is the start?
Because of
8.5.
I'm going to take that. I think Raiders will win, but I'll take Raiders. I'll take that start.
Even through their worst spells, the Knights D has been generally very
pretty
good.
solid. Yeah,
top 3 in all year. So that's a good shout.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. We haven't got to the Titans game yet, so I've got to have it earlier. Broncos and Wars. That's at Suncorp.
Broncos strong
Didn't they just
favourites.
play at Suncorp last week?
Don't they play there every week?
God damn it. All right, how about this? Broncos $1.58, Wars $2.39.
Yeah, I'm salivating over that.
A lot can change in 8 days.
Yeah, well, put your mortgage on it now then, I guess, is what we're saying, isn't it? No,
Okay.
we're not saying that.
I'm going to take the Wawas plus 6.5 into an Adam Reynolds hamstring injury.
Oh,
To rule him out of Origin.
Correct.
so you don't want him in Origin?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this is the type of thing that happens to Adam Reynolds.
Okay.
After leading a team around the park for a second half comeback and getting spoken about in dulcet tones around making an Origin comeback, he will then come out and they'll get rolled and he'll do his hammy.
Yeah, and saving his best game for the Sharks, of course. Mm-hmm. That's what we don't like. All right. Or I don't know if that's good karma, that bet, but we'll see.
My bet is Halius Seamer off the bench to be an anytime try scorer. Watching him play Penrith last week, he was like a cannonball. He's so hard to stop, and
they can't stop people when they don't have the ball.
Throughout the year, the edges of the Broncos have been average at best in D. So that's my bet. So Warriors with Halius Seamer anytime.
All right. It feels like you're making that bet because you know that I'm trying to write down. How the hell am I writing Haliasima? All right.
17.
HALASIMA.
Look, I'll just take the wire straight up because I don't want to think too deeply about it at that price. If you think too deeply about it, or change. Sorry, guys. Every time I go to touch it, the screen locks, doesn't it? Dragons and Eels is at Wynn Stadium. Clint Gutherson and Lomax, you'd imagine up for that. Up for it.
It'll be great. It was a cracker when they played each other earlier in the season. Golden Point, I think.
Yep. Corey Allen's back in. I keep forgetting about Corey Allen, to be honest.
In general?
Generally, yeah. I mean, he's a 2020 Origin hero for Queensland, but I keep forgetting that he's still playing, to be honest. Dill Brown meant to return.
Yep. Dill Brown back, but Tuipulotu's back for the Dragons. Dragons are shortish favourites too. The tab.
And no Penasini for the Eels.
No, that's true. I do think the Dragons will get up for this one.
Yeah,
what are you getting exasperated about that for?
Well, I wanted to
tip them.
Yeah, I wanted to go down the Eels. You know, after their last week's performance, I wanted to go down the Eels are in form route, but then, just look at. I mean, Williams is in the front row, so I put him down for 2 drops.
His hands have been good since he left the Sharks. We know that.
No, bugger it. I'm going to pick the Eels.
Okay.
I'm going to pick the Eels straight up.
Yeah, don't get fancy. I'm going to add to my Dragons winning. It's kind of tempting, even though I want to put Dragons winning, to give Zach Lomax a double.
Yeah.
But then that makes it harder for Dragons to win, so maybe I'll just...
Why don't you just give Gutho and Lomax 1 each?
Oh, the cancel out.
Yeah.
Has Gutho got a try in him, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a special now.
Well, yeah, he is, isn't he? I'll maintain my belligerence on that.
And I'll back it. Thank you very much for that.
Right. So you're going to have Dragons with Clint Gutherson and ATS?
Yep, let's do that. Why not?
All right. God, we need to actually implement a penalty system here.
Well, we'd all be in the negative. So.
All right. And then...
And Dan?
Dolphins and Rabbits at Suncorp. Bloody, that's getting a thrashing, Suncorp.
Have a look at the ins for the Rabbits.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I know that Walker's back. Who else
Walker's
is back?
Oh, Mamazelis.
Campbell Graham.
As well.
Mamazelis. Yep.
Mamazelis.
Mamazelis. Mamazelis.
He's
all right.
He's the touch tackler.
Yeah, look, I really like this South Side, and they would be fuming.
Yep.
I like Jai Arrow at lock as well, starting.
Mm-hmm.
The bench of Moali and Totola is a scary bench, man. Mm-hmm. And then Hubner, who's been fantastic for them all year, is still on the bench. So I imagine they let Arrow go nuts for about 20 minutes and then bring Hubner on to play lock for the rest of the game.
That's a cracking Dolphins side, though.
I know.
No Bostock is a he's good, but he's not a huge loss. But having old mate Lemuelu coming off the bench, he's a bit good.
I just think the injuries to their forwards are going to catch up to them.
And Herbie's not going to keep scoring tries every week. What's he, 9 in a row now?
Yeah. I think the forwards are like Molo, Nichols, Finifuiaki, Keeley, and Donahue. It's not bad, but also like there's some. It's not their best forward pack. I'm going to go South, and I don't even care what you think.
I'm going South and Latrell double.
Oh, it's Latrell double.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to say the Dolphins, and just straight up, and I think Katoa has a cracker.
Dolphins, Katoa, Mom.
Yeah, let's go Katoa Mom.
Okay. And Storm and Sharks. Holy Jesus, I'm so scared.
It's only
no team news for Sharks, except for Oregon.
Yep.
We really need to crack on, guys.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to take the Sharks to lead at half time.
Yep.
And then Melbourne to win 13+.
Sharks halftime.
Sharks
Melbourne,
give hope.
13+.
Melbourne extinguish all.
They can't do it 2 weeks in a row. Dave?
I think, I'm sorry, guys, I just got to go Storm.
Yeah?
Storm half full. Storm to lead and Storm to get going.
Storm.
Yeah.
I'm Storm 13+, and that's all there is to say about that. All right. And we got a bit of a poo fest to end on.
Yeah, so you go from two cracking teams to two Queensland teams.
Titans and Cowboys. Let's hear it.
Cows. No halfback for the Titans. So.
Weaver's back.
Oh, sorry, Weaver's in. Well, let me rethink. No.
All right.
Cows.
Does anyone want to pick what the total match points is for this?
58.5 would be the over.
It's 50.5.
Okay.
And I'll be taking the overs for total match points and the Titans.
Overs and Titans. I will take Titans as well.
So you're assuming more missed tackles than drop balls.
Yeah.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's us. We're out. Thank you very much. Have an NRL at a time. Try not to get as frustrated as I always seem to be. Bye now.
This is an Angry Chimp podcast.